wanted to ask you about that because one of the articles that we read this week was about there's like a lot of pressure on agencies and casting directors to make things diverse and to reflect what America
really
actually
looks like. Yeah.
And we were wondering your feelings about that. And, you know, the article brought up about how finding like a Latin guy in his 40s is really hard because they're all working. I mean, I kind of was like, I got names if you need them, but you know what I mean? But,
Me too.
but I also wanted to, exactly. I also wanted to know how you felt about, you know, women of a certain size. 67% of women are size 14 and above. And do you feel responsibility in that way to represent America in that way too?
You know, I've represented a woman that was plus size, and I put her into a major television series, and, you know, I think it celebrates people where they are. And I feel like even though that series didn't last very long, I thought it was genuine and authentic, and when she was in character, size didn't matter at all. And I think, you know, as we do our jobs in this industry, as crazy as it is, size really doesn't matter. I think, you know,
Just in bed.
It's yeah.
We were waiting for somebody to come up with that joke.
But I feel like, you know, I also feel like sometimes creators just have a look in their mind that they can't detach from.
And I was wondering, like, how much do you fight against that as a casting?
Oh my God! Want to see my battle scars?
Seriously, same
Let's
with
get
me.
naked in the dressing room. I'll show you my scars. But
That'll be
there's
later. That's at the
there's
after party.
Like we're talking about like better things. Pamela does not want anybody who looks like they're on TV. So she embraces that, and you'll see the women who play her best friends are all of a certain age. They're all shapes and sizes and colors. Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, Aline Brush McKenna, our creator, is just like all about, this show takes place in West Covina. What does West Covina look like?
Really?
It doesn't look like the typical CW show.
No, not
Right.
at all.
But then occasionally you have to work on things that are a battle, where there are people who don't have that worldview. Maybe it's just women that are open to that. I don't know. I'm thinking now.
I mean, well, that's
but I mean, really, we can present it, we can have the conversations, but at the end of the day, and show them like the options, but at the end of the day, they do make the decision. They wrote it. It's their vision. And, you know, I know the networks and studios are super behind, you know, opening up everything to everything, and we're doing
Finally.
everything we can, but I've had to fight, and I've lost those battles, and just said, well, you know what, at some point, you're going to wish you had,
Right.
you know?
And well, that's another thing. Do you watch TV? Are you excited about what things are happening? You know, we've talked about This Is Us and American Housewife as being sort of like, we're like so grateful. They are series regulars who are plus size women, but also their entire storyline seems to be wrapped around
Their
them
weight.
being
That's the
fat
only
and not
thing.
being happy about it. I mean,
Or you could say, you know, Tuesday night's fat night. I mean, I watched in a
It's
row.
Fat Tuesday.
Fat Tuesday. That's it. I was like, what's the best way?
It's Fat Tuesday.
And as much as I like embracing seeing people I can identify with, if they can just stop calling themselves fat and using that as the only thing to identify with them as, or the only thing that's interesting about them,
right.
that's a hard thing to watch. I mean, I literally had a night where I watched, you know, American Housewife, and I love Katie and the whole cast, and then This Is Us, and Chrissy is amazing, but one after the other was like, I'm fat,
Yeah.
and you're just like, what else?
And that's a real thing that happens in the world. Like, there are people who are paralyzed by their weight. You
Sure.
know, I would like to see someone have the journey of growing out of that, and how if those characters both grow into body acceptance and like body positivity and are like living their lives and having all the sex they want, like that would be hot. You know what I mean? But if that's what it ends up becoming, and I know that at the beginning of seasons you have to kind of refresh,
Ease into
ease into it. Yeah, but I do. Gets frustrating for me too.
But I feel like with the Chrissy's character on This Is Us, she's 36 years old. At some point, you kind of go, okay, this is my body, and I'm going to live my life, right? Or is it just...
I feel like she was doing that. And then at least from the pilot She
then
was
she
sort
went to Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like,
know.
oh my God.
Like I love. We should get her on here and talk to her about it.
I mean, I would
Yeah.
love, we
With
would
the
love to
creators
get
We
her
of
would
on.
the
love
Sure.
to have you, Chris.
Yeah, Chrissy, come on
She's
our
the
show and
best
talk
boss
to us.
ever.
Yes, we totally want to have her. So, another thing that was happening this week, there was an article in Huffington Post about people clocking women's food and how they eat. And I was just wondering,
We'll get to you in a second.
this is like a real, I mean, I have a thing about, like, I've written about it. Like, why do we have to spend 25 minutes before we order talking about the bad or good choices we made all day, the calorie counting, the steps we got in? It's exhausting me, and I feel like women aren't changing the world because we're spending all our time on that conversation. Do you guys feel like when you're in, listen, LA's meetings, right? It's like, let's go have lunch, let's talk about it. We're always eating over making business, and I was wondering, do you guys struggle with going out? Do you feel people like watching you eat?
You know, for me, I don't think I worry about that. It depends. I'll eat if I'm hungry. I won't eat if I'm not hungry. It is hard when you're with a client and they are eating steamed vegetables with dressing on the side to like be like, I'll have the steak, only because you're sympathetic
You're
to
trying to
someone
support.
who's trying to maintain a certain weight to be on camera.
Right.
You know, I do have the luxury, because I am not on camera, not to have to adhere to that.
And you're living
right?
your life.
And I'm living my life,
Yeah.
but like I identify with the struggle involved with it, because when I try to lose a few pounds, like anyone eating a steak in front of me is like gonna get daggers. I just, it's just, I don't know. Like, my job, I think, is to be professional, to be clean and polished, and I'm a background person. I can support someone on their journey if they have to have a certain body type for the camera, but if that's not their journey, I'm not going to be like, sweetheart, you shouldn't be eating that. That's not for me to judge.
I mean, I gotta tell you, I give zero fucks what people think about what I'm eating. Like, zero. Because it's my body, it's my life, I'm enjoying it. If you don't like what I'm eating, don't order it. Don't order it. I don't care. If someone said something, I mean, that's never happened to me. Thank God no one has ever said to me, like, oh, sweetie, you shouldn't eat that. Because I'd be like, who the fuck are you? And why are you telling me what to eat? Because it's none of their business. And I can't even imagine going up to someone and, like, telling them what they should or shouldn't do.
Well, I think that there's a whole miscommunication there. Like, personally, I'm the healthiest eater of all of my friends. Every body type. I cook better than any of them. I eat better than any of them, healthier than any of them. So I don't understand that concept. Like, I'm going to eat when I go out, I'm not like, oh, I'm ordering this because I don't want people to know. I'm not like binging back in the corner.
Right. You
I'm
actually
not
have a
this-
great Instagram where
No,
you
I
put
do.
all
But I
of
mean,
your
and
amazing
Dana
meals
also.
in there.
She's a brilliant chef.
Oh,
I mean, we both
genius.
We
are
both
like,
are like,
both-
we need a cooking knife.
we take care of our food in a way, we take care of ourselves in a way that maybe people don't understand that. It's not like we're like, I mean, the skinniest people I know are the ones who eat terrible. The cupcakes come in my office 4 times a week. I'm not interested. Maybe every once in a while. I'm like, I'm not a sweet person.
Right.
So I'm just like, that's not my thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, bring me in a beautiful bottle of wine and a gorgeous piece of salmon, and I'm going to make that like my day.
Right.
Do you hear
It's
that,
a very-
actress? When Felicia casts
Oh,
salmon, wine,
Yeah.
you're
Lobstah.
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 Yeah.
Love
There you
lobster.
go. There you go.
So I don't when I did read that, and I could not identify with that, because I was like, that is just a different element than I know.
Yeah.
And maybe that's also being like, we're professional women, that we are of a certain economic way that we cook, and we don't like run into
I also
a fast food place
that
and
you're-
eat and binge and hide French fries.
And
like, that's
and you're
not-
incredibly like self-possessed, which I thought that woman in the article was too,
Mhm.
and like people had an issue with it. But you're both like totally and completely self-possessed in a way that maybe that's just not, people wouldn't even dare.
Even stand it.
But how about red carpet looks? I mean, is that something that you guys, the struggle is real?
When I
or-
was a new agent, I was working with a stylist, because where I worked before where I was now, they were very conscious about those kinds of things. And I had to go to a lot of award shows and a lot of events. And so the stylist took me to meet Melissa to do some award show clothing. And like everything fit and it looked good. And clothes that make you look good make you look thinner than you actually are. And unfortunately, I'm no longer with the stylist. I would just come back to Melissa, and I've been wearing her clothes since 2001. Award shows, premieres, like special things that I want to do. She even did my wedding dress this July.
Oh my God! Well, congratulations.
which is amazing because I hated wedding shopping. Like, that was like a nightmare for me. I'm not kidding. Okay, so I didn't have like a fancy budget. I think I had like $800. And so I went to David's Bridal, and their catalog, I'm not kidding, was this thick, and this amount was for plus size. And when I saw it, I literally sat in the dressing room and like cried because I had no options. And so I'm so glad that was not your experience, and how magical that must have been for you.
Oh yeah, it was like something, I mean, obviously I've known her for over 16 years, so it was easy to come in here and say, I want this, it's going to be hot, like, you know, not to say I'm not a problem, because I am. I've cried on the floor here. But honestly, for me, my Massey has been one-stop shopping. Like, if she sold shoes and bras and panties,
You'd go nowhere.
You would literally go nowhere.
I would never go anywhere else, because it's just easy for me. But, you know, sometimes Melissa's nice to me and she'll take me shoe shopping. Because I can't do it by myself.
No, you need it. You need her to be like, oh, you know that dress that'll go with this?
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely.
For sure.
What a good friend.
How about you?
Well, I don't go to so many like red carpet events. I mean, I just don't. It's not in the nature of my job, and which is great because I'm kind of a hippie. Like, if I don't have to shave my legs, I'm super happy about it. But this past Emmy award time, I did get invited to something, and I didn't go because I was like, I have nothing to wear.
Which is
and I told Melissa that, who hopefully we'll see her soon up here. She's sitting there looking so cute. And she and I both kind of cried. And she was like, why didn't you come here and tell me that? Like, I would have, like, we could have found, and I was like, oh my God, that was, like, why did that stop me? And I think that's one of the first times that I did feel like I'd stopped myself. It was also, like, other stuff going on for me, clearly. It wasn't just, I don't have something to wear. Because I think it's really connected, you know? Like, yes, sometimes just the clothes make you feel better, that push you out the door to do things you normally wouldn't do.
Absolutely.
So whatever it was holding me back in that moment of I didn't want to go, and also I was like, I didn't have anything to wear. It was like a whole complicated therapy session that I'm still working on, because it really did hit me like I missed an opportunity, whatever it would have been. And that's the first time that I remember doing that, because I've been nominated for a couple of Emmys, and I did get a dress. And one year I loved it, and one year I hated how I looked. And it really does, like, I don't even want to look at those pictures of the year that I hated how I looked.
Right.
The dress I bought online, I bought like 10 dresses from Nordstrom online.
Tina's like,
nope, she's mad about it.
Them all. And I was like, well, I got to wear something. And the year that I wore the one I loved, it was like a great entire Emmy experience.
It's a great thing to feel confident in what you're wearing, that, like, you know, like, captures all the best parts of you. And especially in, like, you know, this is our work environment. It may look like a party. It's not your party.
No, it's a networking
like
event.
Absolutely. So to be confident in what you're wearing, you know, and poised and polished. And
and that just shows, like, you show up
and, you know,
better.
as you're a representative of your client. And so not only are you representing your client, you're representing your agency where you work. It's really important to, like, have that air of confidence. Like, you know, listen, I'm good at my job no matter how I look. But, you know, unfortunately, we work in a perception business. So I have to be on point in terms of the way that I look.
But that's self-worth everywhere, though.
Absolutely.
I think part of that first Emmy where I didn't like how I looked or what I wore, I also felt like I didn't deserve it. It came up in a way, and it was like, I kept getting this weird feedback, kind of like, oh. But then the second year, like, I'm for the same show, it was like, wait, I do deserve this? So I really did make the choice to really feel good about myself. Like, that was all connected to how I looked. And
that's like some amazing growth to happen in just like a span of a year.
Yeah.
So
and then I went
kudos for that.
backwards.
But now you know Melissa Massey, and you're gonna wear amazing clothes everywhere you go now.
Melissa, and
No
she obviously
excuses
is-
now.
She's not just your clothing designer; she's your therapist,
Right.
Which I think we all want a piece of. We're gonna go
Very
and talk to her, and you have to get your screening. It's this Christmas.
Yes.
That you have.
I have Carrie Hilson in there.
Amazing.
Yay.
So
She's lovely.
go watch that, guys. Go out and see that movie.
Yes.
And we just can't thank you enough for being here with
Yes,
us, guys.
thank
Taking
you.
time out of your
Thank
day.
Thank you.
And we really appreciate and love you. And say it again, your name of your charity and where people
My
can find
Friend's
it.
Place. It's myfriendsplace.org.
Okay,
MyFriendsPlace.org.
And
Great.
Felicia, you want to tell people where they can find you, or you want to hide?
Melissa Massey store.
Just come to Melissa Massey's store. She'll be here at some point.
Yes, me.
Amazing. We're talking to Melissa when we come back right after Plus This. Thanks.